We should be kicking on here in the next couple seconds. Yeah, I told Tristan we were hopping on here. Oh, hang on.
Okay. Oh, did
Oh,
my camera just shit the bed?
yeah, we shoot the shit for a whole like 20 minutes and it works like
Yeah,
perfectly.
the camera works great. All right. So
Oh
sometimes this
man,
happens where
it's
we're
because you were talking crap about technology, man. You're talking about tech, and it's getting you back now.
How's that?
All right, you're back. All right.
That's that's better. I did change a setting in the hopefully you won't not get reverb or echo or anything. I don't know, we're just gonna have to wing it. Seems like the mic and the camera, let's roll with it. So
Yeah, I think we're good. All right. Yeah, I was telling Tristan about this, man, but he's got this new job going on, got promoted, and he's got so much going on right now. But hopefully, we can get him up here for this next one for sure.
yeah,
'Cause
cool, man. He should, well, I guess that's a little bit of a hike if he went up to Barber, but I think it'd be worthwhile for him to see how, basically a whole race weekend goes. That's if he wants to get into that, then that's, see everything you got to go through. That would be, worthwhile.
yeah, I've been telling him. I mean, it's in his pipeline for sure. It's just how the timeline is going to work with him with the job and stuff. But he's definitely trying to get racing, so
Cool.
that's going to be fun.
Yeah, man. I think he's taken to that. He's being Gixxer boy, man, with it, taking that bike
Jizzer
pretty quickly.
boys, Jizzer boys representing. Man.
Hey,
Alright, but I guess
I mean, that's
yeah,
that's another platform, man, where since they haven't changed a bike in 15 years, there's plenty of spare parts for those things. And it's
I
not
mean,
the cutting edge or technology or whatever, but I mean, it gets around the track, I guess. So
yeah, they're fast. That's all that matters.
that's right.
Man, well, let's just hop right into it,
All
man.
right.
Welcome everybody for another episode with Florida Moto Talk. I'm John, and I'm joined by Andy, friend of the channel here. You've seen him here before. How you doing, man?
Doing all right, man. It's life's good as usual. Busy, but life is good.
That's good. Got to stay busy. Keeps you out of trouble, right?
Yeah, that's the whole work thing is definitely starting, is impacting, a lot of my weekend activities also though, but hopefully the end is in sight with all that.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as we have time for the hobbies and the finer things, right?
That's right,
It's
yeah.
all worth it. All right. Well, man, happy to have you here. As you know, as we've been discussing, there's a lot that's going on in MotoGP and World Superbike right now, and we just kind of wanted to come together to discuss this recent development that we have just received that Toprak El Turco is going to be going to MotoGP next season. Man, what do you think about that?
I guess he's certainly what is he coming up on 29 or 30. I mean, the
Yeah,
way
he's
I
getting up
see
there.
it, his window of opportunity is closing. And good for on one hand, I think good for him because he's taking that risk, and he's saying that because I think if he didn't do it now, I don't think he ever would, because I mean people would just say you're too old and whatnot. So I mean that would probably be if I was him, that would be a huge regret that he'd be living with. So I mean kudos for him for taking the shot and seeing how it is in a different world. I think it's going to be. I think World Superbike's going to certainly take a hit as a result of it. I mean, if you watch World Superbike the last 3 years, 5 years, or whatever, he's made that exciting because with him and Batista, like especially when he was on the Yamaha, and there was a couple races where they were just going tooth and nail back and forth, and it was really some fantastic racing. And like this year, and even Johnny Ray, when he was still in the Kawasaki, he was making some of the racing interesting with those two. And now Bulaga is now his new opponent. So when Toprak leaves, who's going to be challenging Bulaga on the Ducati? It's Bulaga's going to win by 15 seconds, and like so I think it's great for MotoGP because he is a great personality, a great he is an ambassador of the sport. I mean, he's exciting to watch. It's going to really, I think, World Superbike's can really going to suffer as a result of it. Like who's to watch? I mean, I watch because
Yeah, I mean, it World Super. You touched on a lot of things there, man. And I'm a big Toprak fan, and because of that, I've been like very critical of him, especially this season with just some of the things that he's done and some of the things that have been going on behind the scenes too. But man, I just to touch on some of the things you said, let's start with like Johnny Ray and like World Superbike, right? Like
yep.
who's gonna fill the void when Toprak leaves? World Superbike is weird, I think, in the sense where when somebody's dominating, it feels like that's when the most people are watching it. I mean, we saw that with Johnny Ray. I mean, it seems like his fans especially, obviously, but it seems like, that's when it was sort of at the height, right? When Johnny Ray was just dominating and nobody was touching him.
Yeah, or yeah, if you go back, to the old days when like Carl Fogarty was he won like 4 championships and whatnot. I mean, that's like when you had to
Mhm.
watch World Superbike if you could even watch it on like Speed Vision or some of these old ass channels. But he's it's really interesting. And like Johnny Ray, I guess people always wonder what would he have done. And like it's like going not NASCAR, what's below like F1, but someone goes to F1, that's like the peak of the motorsports for that thing. And MotoGP is certainly the pinnacle of two-wheeled racing. So I mean, I think everyone wants to take that step from World Superbike up to MotoGP. And like some of these guys, like I guess with Johnny Ray, I guess it just things didn't come together. I think he had maybe a wild card or something like that. But you know, maybe if he, what would he have done? I think that's everyone's question. Like, would have some of these talents have done in MotoGP if they would have had the chance? And Toprak's going to find out, for better or for
Mhm.
worse. He's going to see how he does against the top tier motorcycle racers.
Yeah, and that's where I was just watching Top Rack. My worst nightmare for me would be if he never went to MotoGP. What a tragedy that would be.
Yep,
And the same thing with Johnny Ray. I mean, they get to the point where they have to make the decision. Do I want to stay in World Superbike where I'm comfortable? The schedule alone, right, is so much better for
it's
life in general.
half the
Like
races.
you get like one race a month, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy how the schedule is. But
Right.
man, better schedule. I mean, better quality of life, lower pay, obviously, unless your name is freaking Top Rack.
Oh, I'm sure.
So,
I'm sure some of those top names are getting. Johnny Ray is Mr. He was Mr.
oh yeah, and
Kawasaki
Johnny Ray too. Yeah.
for 10 years, and so he probably got a lot of endorsements because he brought them six titles and whatnot.
Hmm.
He's probably not wondering where his next meal's coming from. Some of these other guys, yeah, they're probably it's probably more difficult for sure.
Yeah, but the point is though, I can see why Johnny Ray would stay in World Superbike, right?
Yes,
But once again, we're talking about a legacy here. Now, can Johnny Ray ever say I was the greatest motorcycle rider of all time? Not even freaking close. Now, can he say was I the greatest world superbike rider of all time?
yeah, yeah.
I don't even know if that's the case anymore. You know what I mean? Because he's still racing. You probably missed it, but
He
he's
has all
still
the
racing.
numbers, all the stats,
Yeah, I
so
mean
it's
he's got the stats. He's currently racing, not doing anything on the Yamaha. You know what I mean? But
yeah, yeah.
so you gotta, I mean, at that point, right? You gotta make that step, man. I mean, this isn't a sport where you come to be mediocre. And if the opportunity is there, and I think if Johnny Ray had truly wanted to make that step, right? I mean,
He
this
probably
dude
could have
was
pushed
winning everything. Like what could he have done
right.
to
I
have
think
an argument to get into? He's already done more than Top Rack has done. You know what I mean?
yep.
No comparison at all.
I
Top
think
Rack's got two titles in World Superbike.
Kawasaki just kept sending him suitcases full of money and said, "You're gonna,"
Yeah.
with with the Kawasaki
Yeah,
label
keep
on it.
racing. And they say keep racing, but I mean, at the end of the day, you have to take that opportunity, and I absolutely respect Top Rank for doing it because I mean, we were talking, and man, we didn't know if it was just clever negotiating tactics to get more money to stay in World Superbike, just
Hmm.
to kind of threaten BMW because I mean, we've heard that he's been talking to Honda. At one point, I heard that Honda was offering him a deal to stay in World Superbike for a year
Yeah,
and
that's
then
right.
move up, and so all that would be pretty good negotiating tactics at the end of the day, right? Then you can go to BMW and say, "Hey, all these teams, they want me to go to MotoGP. What can you do for me?" But I'm just glad that, the contract's signed now. Toprak's going to MotoGP.
Yeah,
We get to see what he can do.
we've been hearing about this contract and negotiations for it seems like 2 years from his all these
Yeah.
subtle hints from his manager, and finally the deal is done. So hey, good for him. So that's so kind of this is interesting. So if you kind of look at who has gone, I guess the question is, what's he going to do in MotoGP? I mean, what's your opinion on that? Or I'm going to hear your thoughts. I
That's
certainly
the
have my
question.
own thoughts.
And once again, this is coming from somebody that's a big Top Rack fan, but with the way that MotoGP is now, especially going into 2026 before the regulation change, 26 is going to be a hard season for Top Rack, man. Any way that you look at it, because
That's right.
whether people don't seem to even want to draw a distinction right between the talent and World Superbike and MotoGP. There is such
People are
they're out here,
crazy.
man. Trust me.
That's, that's right.
They're out here. I sent you the post the other day where the guy was saying, "Man, Top Rack Super are gonna wax
He's
everybody
he's gonna
in
clean up
MotoGP."
Mark
What
Marquez.
are
You're
we
not going to know what's coming. Yeah, okay, right.
what are we talking about, man? So there's people that don't even think that there's a difference in the talents between the two championships. They're just like different bikes, right? But the talent is there. Man, I anybody that's been watching this sport, right? Compare the top 10 guys, right, to the top 10 guys in GP versus the top 10 guys in World Superbike.
Mhm.
Where's the comparison? You know what I mean?
Right.
Who do I even need to name the names? You know who they are. I mean, Mark Marquez, Alex Marquez, man.
Yeah, who's
Even
I think he can beat some kid Chantra. I think he's got a leg up on
yeah,
him.
he
So,
beat him.
yeah,
but but yeah, I don't see him finishing. I don't see him getting a podium for the
um,
first for 2026. I don't see that.
yeah, I don't
Top
either
top
unless
15, I think. Points, I
unless
think he's gonna get points. Top
unless
15s.
yeah, I think so. I'd say maybe he's gonna finish maybe kind of mid-pack, kind of 10, 11, 12 kind of thing
Yeah.
at the end of the day. We were talking about this kind of with Tristan about the preseason, like if like Acosta was ever going to win a race. And, like I said, there's always going to be these weird weekends where someone crashes out or someone's got a mechanical, and, he could take advantage of that. And that's, I mean, shit, look at Zarco in Le Mans. I mean, who would have picked whoever bet on him for that race, walked away with a nice chunk of cash in their pocket. So
Yep.
I think you know, there's an outside chance he could get a podium, but it's going to be tough for a lot of the reasons you said. Like it's going from to different tires, a different bike on maybe not the worst bike, but not certainly not the best bike. Just adapting to that is going to be a real tall order. Um, and so, kind of look at it this way: is if you look at what the current four riders on Yamahas, who could he beat? Do you think he's better than Quartararo? I'd say no. Is he better
No.
than Rince? Well, hell no. I mean, or yeah, well, he's certainly better than Rince because Rince is,
Yeah, he's struggling.
he is.
There's an
Um,
argument there, I think.
so yeah, I mean, maybe he's like maybe on the level of Jack Miller. Maybe. I mean, that's and Jack is kind of runs hot and cold. Some. But Jack always burns the tires up. I don't know why everyone else seems to make the tires last, and he starts out of the gate good, and then by the mid race, he's just dropping down the field, etc. And again, him, all those, and then Miguel Oliveira. I mean, I'm not sure if he's going to stick around. He's just not. Of course, he has had injuries, at the beginning of the year. But that aside, it just seems like the last couple of years he's been kind of really struggling. So if when he comes in and he comes on that bike, which again is not the best bike in the world, maybe he's going to be on the same level maybe as Jack Miller is what my guess would be, who is a multi MotoGP. Actually, all those guys, and obviously, well, shit, Quattararo won the championship, but
Mhm.
Rince, Miller, even Oliveira's won MotoGP
Yeah,
races.
they're all winners, yeah.
They are. Uh, Another way to kind of look at this is like, okay, you see people. this is interesting when you have World Superbike riders, and we haven't had one really in a while that has gone from World Superbike to MotoGP. Um, I think Cal Crutchlow maybe because he was in like World Supersport. He was a World Supersport championship champion, I believe, and he went to MotoGP, and he had he had a decent career in it. He won what two, three, four races, something like that. Um, but historically, go back to Ben Spies, who's who crushed the field in World Superbike in whatever 2009, and then in 2010 he actually had a decent he did now short of his injury I think he only won one MotoGP race. Um, or Colin Edwards, he won the world championship twice, and he went to MotoGP, and he had a couple decent years, but nothing. He wasn't dominant, and he's a great dude and a great ambassador for the sport, but he didn't mop up. So then that's kind of that trip. And then how about if you look at people who've gone from MotoGP to World Superbike?
Yeah, I
Uh,
was gonna mention that, yeah.
look at Batista. What did he? That was certainly he didn't. What did he get? Like maybe a couple podiums in MotoGP, but he stuck around there for a while till basically there were really probably wasn't many opportunities for him. Went to World Superbike and holy crap! I mean, like the first or second year, he won well,
Yeah,
like
rode the wheels off.
he sure did, and
Rode
he's
the wheels off, man. Ran away with it,
absolutely. So
and
what is that? So that those kind of comparisons, what does that alone tell you about the level of talent between MotoGP and World Superbike? I mean, they're different animals, I mean, there's some overlap, but I mean, it's like here's World Superbike, and here's MotoGP in terms of the raw talent
mhm.
level.
Yeah, and the GP riders also have the benefit that if you can ride that, rigid frame MotoGP prototype bike, if you can get
Hmm.
that thing around the track, anything's easier to ride because of the front, right? You can ride anything after riding a MotoGP bike.
Right.
So you go from that to a production bike, the production bike is almost, child's play at that point to
Mm,
make that thing do what you want. It's easier to understand, and I mean, you still have to ride the MotoGP bikes. I mean, you have to have an insane level of feel for one. You have to understand every little thing about that bike to make it work the way that you want, all the way
yeah.
down to the grip levels on the tires at every single corner, and you're calculating that, in your mind when you're rolling on the throttle to get the maximum grip and add in the electronics now with the ride height devices, right?
Hmm.
That you're hitting 5, 6 times around a lap.
Yeah, the
I
whole
mean,
shot devices. I mean, there's certainly yeah, like you'd
the
mentioned,
whole
there's
shot,
other
the
technology.
overload, yeah, the sensory over. I mean, you're at a 10, right? Like mentally to get that bike around the track. Go down, go down to a super bike. I mean, you're talking about a production bike here, right? That's been
Yes.
modded to the moon, right, with engine work and everything else, but it's still a production bike at its core. It's not a prototype machine. If you can ride that GP bike, it's nothing to get on the prototype bike on the just the production bike.
Right. No, I do to Toprak's credit. I mean, you saw how he rode that Yamaha and he what he did on that to try to battle with Batista. So he's gonna once he gets up to speed, he's going to get I'm assuming the maximum out of that package because that's just the way he rides. I don't think he's always like at 100%. He doesn't.
Mhm.
I don't think he knows any different. But is it going to be like the Jorge Martin type syndrome where he pushes it beyond the bike's limit, and then God forbid he has some kind of catastrophic accident. But Toprak's not really a crasher though. I mean, somehow what he does with that bike is phenomenal. The way he pushes the envelope of that bike and he doesn't end up in a gravel pit, that blows my mind. So
Yeah, and he's good in the way that he rides around problems. Like when he was having issues earlier in the season, I mean, he was still putting the bike on the podium and still fighting when he wasn't gelling with the bike. Now, I don't know what type of trick changes they went and made going into the more recent races, but I mean, they made it clear they
right,
did make that he was uncomfortable on the bike. I mean, we've seen him punch in the windshield. What was it? The second race of the
Yeah, that's
season.
right.
He's doing that again, like smashing the windshield when he's losing to Beluga because the bike, what there was something going on with the bike that he wasn't gelling with. But he still got, I mean, he still got he got the job done. He minimized the loss. That's all you can do. But he has that ability to adapt. Now, once again, is that going to be enough to overcome, this M1? I don't know, but once again, it's Yamaha. He's ridden the Yamaha for many years. The bike, just like the Ducatis in MotoGP to World Superbike, like there's a DNA there with that bike and
Mhm.
with the design. The Yamaha is still focusing a lot on the corner speed and being, high corner entry speed bike. Um, so hopefully he can play on the experience that he already has with the brand and understand the bike a little bit better. But we also don't know because they just tested the V4 Yamaha did at the Aragon test, right? So we don't know if he's going to be on the inline four, which would be very familiar to him as far as the power delivery, or if he's
Yes.
going to the V4, which well, he hasn't ridden. He has no
It
experience with the
oh,
V4.
I hadn't even thought about that. I mean, there's a
Yeah,
steep learning curve for him, regardless, everything. So it's gonna be tough. It may take him the first third of the season just to, score somewhere, start scoring some, points between, probably 10th and 15th or something like that.
yeah,
It's
but
gonna it's gonna be a big adjustment. So yeah, I mean, to his credit, like you said, he's very adaptable. I mean, like Marquez. I mean, Marquez is, what did Pecco say the other day? Like, basically, Marquez such a chameleon on the bike that, his riding ability masks a lot of the problems on the bike just because he's like, well, yeah,
yep,
whatever. You know, him and Pecco could switch bikes, and Mark would say, "What's I don't see anything wrong with the bike," and Pecco will be like,
yeah.
"Oh, I don't like the brake lever adjustment or something like that." It's Mark just rides around the problems. Like that's reality, man, and this is such a, practical outlook. It's like, look, and, the bike's not going to be, 100% every day, but you just have to make do with what you have and make the best out of it.
Yeah, and I believe it was the first round at Chang where Mark Marquez was just playing with the pace, right? And Pecco Bagnaia said in the briefing, he was like, Mark Marquez was playing with us. I think was the quote. I'll have to look up the quote, but I think it was Mark Marquez was
Yeah,
playing with us, something along the lines of that. We're talking about a world champ here who, well, he was beaten last year, right? But but just barely, and he
hmm
was still at the top of his game. And the year before that, I mean, he was just as strong. This guy is saying that Mark Marquez is untouchable. These are this is the caliber of rider that people are saying that Toprak is going to come into MotoGP and beat, right?
yeah. I cannot
that's
see that
that's a
happening.
tall order, man. I mean, we have to draw the distinction in there, right?
So who is, I mean, and Alex is riding phenomenally. I mean, MotoGP, Alex Marquez.
Yeah.
And Pecco is right up there. I mean, all the Ducatis are pretty much, they're right up there. So who's, I mean, he's gonna be like with, and I'm thinking, of the KTM people, like, yeah, obviously he's gonna beat Bastianini. Maybe on the occasional day. Well, Vinales is one of those people where he's another one where everything seems like it has to be perfect, and when it's not, he's down in
Hmm.
18th place, and when things are going well, he's in fourth or something.
Yep.
Uh, but yeah, there's a lot of competition out there. It's it would be shocking to see, but it's going to be interesting. Hey, nonetheless, regardless of where he ends up or what he does. And I wholeheartedly agree that, like, look, I hats off to him for taking that leap into the unknown. Good for him, because you never know. So that's
Yeah, and he's in a luckily he's in a good position because for one, he's going into the Pramac team. Um he's going to have a good partner, which should be Jack Miller at this point.
I would agree with that.
Get
Yes,
Miguel out of there. And expectations. I mean, the team is not going to expect him to come in here and start winning. His goal for all of 2026 should be to get comfortable on the bike, to start that adaptation process, and then to be consistent. If he can just be consistent, he's going to beat a pretty good chunk of the field, right? All these guys that you just mentioned that just kind of pop up every now and then and that are finicky on the bikes, right? He
Yeah.
will, if he's consistently top 15s, he will beat a lot of those guys. I don't even think him getting into the top five, like outside of a wet race or just some type of strange situation, I don't think that'll even be in the conversation for
Hmm.
him or for the team. And that's completely fine. Once again, we just have to be really realistic with what this guy's taking on. But at the same time, if he gets in here now and goes straight to the top, man, I just have to put my foot in my mouth, I guess. And
He ain't going straight to the top. You
yeah,
know, I, I mean, people want to donate to charity or something. We could take bets or something, but it's like
it's
there.
it's field is too strong.
I think if he gets a podium, that's going to be a tall order. I would guess I would suspect maybe he'd get a couple top tens. Maybe like fourth, fifth, sixth, maybe a couple of those sprinkled in there. A podium, maybe a little bit. Again, I think maybe a podium is more realistic if you have one of these weird excursions where Alex and Mark take each other out and Pecco
Yeah,
is mechanical or something like that.
something.
But that's I there's he ain't going. It's going to be exciting to watch and see what he does on the Yamaha. I mean, but I think again, I'd say Jack Miller is probably somewhere maybe between Jack Miller and Fabio. That's where he may end up on at the end of the year in best case. But then all that learning is going to be they're just going to turn the page, and then in
Yeah.
27, everyone's going to be on new bikes and new tires. So maybe this part will just get him acclimated to the whole MotoGP scene. I think he's ridden most of the tracks, but not all of them. Um, but then, yeah, see what he does. As long as he's consistent, maybe shows a little bit of improvement. I think that's all they could ask from him, and see how he does, and make sure he
Yeah.
doesn't get injured. But yeah, he's going to be a draw. So again, kind of circling back, he's going to people are going to be wanting to see how he does. Um, but World Superbike's that's a big loss for World Superbike, honestly.
It's a huge loss. Glad we circled back around to that because I mean, you don't really have any personalities that are gonna fill in that void that he's gonna leave. I mean, it's a terrible day for World
No, man.
Superbike.
Like even when you hear these post race interviews with Bulaga, I mean,
Yeah,
guy's a
man.
phenomenal rider, but it's like he's talking about his tax return. I mean, there's just like no, it's just he's so bland.
He's just mad all it's either he's mad that he got second and he's like, "Yeah, we had a good race. We're gonna make changes for next race." Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I
and that's
push,
it.
I push, I give 100%. Thankful for the team. Try to do
And
better
that's
tomorrow.
it.
Right, I
He's
mean, this interviews are just canned. It's like, just might as well just read it off the phone. It's like,
He's out of there, man, and you can't fault the guy because, like I said, at least he's being like, I mean, this is just how he is. You know what I mean? This
yeah.
is how he's not that type of showman that we've grown to see with like Toprak, for example, that'll strap a freaking like airplane wings like to his
That's right.
shoulders
I see that.
and go ramp the bike, right? And you have these big like elaborate ceremonies that he does in the stoppies, man. Everybody loves the freaking stoppies in
Right.
the parfum and he's just a showman, right?
But,
So
I mean, he makes the racing exciting though too. I mean, yeah,
mhm,
the post race activities are great, but I mean, God, there was that one race with it may have been Portimao with him and Batista where they changed. I think this is when he's back on the Yamaha, and changed. They changed leads. It must have been 25 times during that race. It was a freaking fantastic race, and
yeah,
that's what people want to see. They don't want to see and people talk about Marquez, if he checks out 15 seconds into the lead, I mean, hey, that his talent level, that's a top level racing. That's great. But at least MotoGP shows some of those other battles. Maybe that's not the best thing for viewing, but yeah, no personality and no racing at the top in World Superbike. That's gonna be a tough season for them.
yeah, they're gonna have, and the hardcore fans like us are still gonna watch it, and it's gonna be the Beluga show
Yeah.
it's gonna be the Niccolo show. Nobody's gonna touch this guy. I think Bautista's leaving. Isn't he
Yeah,
leaving next season?
they I think
He
they've
would have been
kinda
the only one
exercised
to
that.
touch him.
Right, they've exercised that option, so I think they could still keep him if they really wanted to, but it sounds like they're going forward with, thanks Alvaro, I mean, hey, I can't fault the guy, but maybe they have someone else coming up, who knows? Well, I mean, that's another question as well. So if like Batista leaves, who's going to take that seat?
Probably
And
a drop down
yeah, a
from
drop down
GP.
menu is going to be
Yeah,
Iannone, you think, or maybe
I
someone from
mean,
World Supersport, maybe who's it? Manzi, I think is leading the World Supersport right now, and he's running like a
mhm.
freaking animal. Um,
All the Ducatis are running. I mean, yeah, it could. Yeah, Iannone, that would be a good one for sure. That guy's a freak of nature. Could be
yeah,
Petrucci.
but he hasn't put up
um,
the numbers, and he's another one, pull the string. I want a factory ride, but he's not he's not really demonstrated that this year. Shit, I think Petrucci has more than he has. Uh,
yeah. And I'll tell you who it's not going to be too. Scott Redding. Did you forget that he's on a Ducati this year too?
that's right. That was just going to be his
He's-
swan song. I thought I kind of
won't
had
be
high
this guy,
hopes for
man.
him. At Phillip Island, he did decent. I think he went to finish the first race. I think he did decent. The second race, not so good. And then after that, he's down there with Tito Rabat.
Struggling. So it's not the bike, everybody. We're seeing it.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not just
right.
the bike.
And then the other question is who would take Toprak's place on the BMW, if assuming BMW is going to still put two riders out there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm sure they will. Their program's going strong now. The bike's
Oh,
ready.
so
Oh, I don't know, man. He's having a rough season too.
well,
But
he
he's got
knows
the BMW experience, so
he does exactly, and he
yeah.
did. His last couple years in that BMW, he was doing pretty good.
Yeah, he was getting there. That'd be awesome. That keep me watching for sure.
Yeah,
Get
that's
Garrett
right.
Gerloff in the factory BMW team. Heck yeah,
Well,
man.
that'll be interesting. So yeah, a lot of moving parts, and it's hard to believe what like World Superbike. Well, World Superbike's about halfway through, but MotoGP is only what completed 8 of 20 rounds or whatever, so they're
Yeah,
just about
we're.
a third of the way through the season, and
I
already the
know.
silly season starting already.
I know. We're just now getting into the good races. I mean, we got Mugello next.
Oh, that's interesting.
Assen's coming up as well.
You want to make a prediction who's going to win Magello? While you mentioned since you mentioned that.
I don't know. That's the Italian, homeland right there. So I don't know, man. I think Pecco might show up for that one. If not, he's definitely going to show up for Assen.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mark's won both those tracks,
Mhm.
but you should watch the races from last year. So, do you remember what the? I actually did, so I'm sort of cheating. So, do you remember who won the sprint? And let's say Pecco won both the races, but who finished second in those races?
Was it Bezzecchi?
No, the main race it was Bastianini. Remember, he passed
Ah, yes.
Jorge Martin on like the
That's
last
right.
turn, and
Mhm.
Marquez finished fourth. So then, do you remember the sprint podium? Who finished second and third?
Well, I don't wanna say Bezzecchi again.
No, it wasn't him.
Definitely Ducati. What, an AM probably. Did you?
No, it was Mark Marquez and Pedro Acosta.
Oh, okay.
And Marquez only finished the sprint like I think it was right about a second or less than a second behind Pecco.
Okay,
Um,
well, alright, well.
Now he's got a few more ponies on that bike, and yeah, I don't know. And actually, even the main race, I think Mark, yeah, I can't remember the gap, but Mark was in fourth in that race too on the lesser
Mm,
GP23.
they might be
I
in
would
trouble
not
then.
count him out for winning one or two of those either sprint in the podium or sprint in the main race or the main race in the sprint or whatever. Yeah, I think he's going to win one of those.
Yeah, I
Personally.
mean, how he's been riding, I mean, Turn one's probably just going to be his playground. Coming into that long braking zone, then just trail brake up the hill to the right.
Yeah, that man,
He's
that'd be
going to crush
a
that. So
ride. Well, all Marquez has to do is like, see Pecco in the garage and say, "Man, your bike was really shaking. You sure those brakes are all right?" And Pecco will be just like, his head's gonna explode, and then he'll go on another wild goose chase. This ain't working right. I can't ride this bike.
I know, man. And like, man, all right. Final tangent, man. Then we'll
All
wrap
right.
it up because you're talking about brakes now. Toprak, man, he's known for his brake ability, his late braking ability, and just how much finesse and feel he has on the front brake. Does that set him apart from any of the top guys in MotoGP? Because
Uh,
I
no,
what do you
uh,
think?
I think they're
Does that give him the advantage in
probably
GP
one
now
half to two-thirds of the riders in MotoGP have that same
on the same level?
ability in braking in corner entry. I think certainly just some of my favorite riders like Samket and Raul, who haven't, who we won't see next year. Well, don't seem like they have that. Uh, well, you never. It's hard to say. They never get any TV coverage. I mean, they're damn near
Yeah.
getting lapped, during these races. But yeah, I mean, you see some of these slow motion videos of these friggin' guys trail braking with the rear wheel in the air. I mean, everyone in MotoGP, or most of them, have that ability to have a feel for the front end and what the brakes are doing. So yeah, it's like, okay, well, that's great, top Eric. What else do you have?
Yeah. I think, yeah, man, I have to agree 100%, man. I was just thinking about that. I mean, the way that these guys are breaking in MotoGP, it's unreal. I mean, it's absolutely unreal. Jorge Martin just plays on the front wheel, just the
Yeah.
same way Toprak does. Like you said, that's more of like a required skill in MotoGP, right? That's like something you have to check off to get into the door, right? That's not something that's gonna. I mean, you have to be at the level of Mark Marquez, Jorge Martin, Pecco Bagnaia for it to set you apart from the rest of the grid. But you don't
Mhm.
think Toprak's on that level, huh?
I mean, I think he's no slouch. Don't get me wrong, but it's like you hit it, man. That's just like, okay, yeah, you should be able to do this if you want to compete at this
Mhm.
level. And so he's got that skill set that's better that he has it as opposed to trying to learn on a MotoGP bike. How to trail brake with different tires, different big honking brakes and all that into like turn one at Magello coming from whatever 230 miles an hour down to 45 or whatever they make that turn one at.
Yeah,
So
ridiculous.
it,
Absolutely ridiculous. Perfect, man. Well, yeah, I guess we go ahead and wrap it up, man. Keep it short and sweet today.
yeah,
Great discussion as usual. Like I
it's
said,
going to be interesting. Yeah, it's going to be interesting next year. I mean,
it's gonna be great.
I hope it is interesting, and I hope it's not just like, well, with again, Chantra. I mean, remember as you mentioned the Thai Grand Prix. It's like I remember seeing all this, pomp and circumstance with him being this Thai rider on the bike, and I was thinking, This is probably the last TV coverage he's going to get all year."
That's it, and we haven't seen him since.
Right? I mean,
They don't
shit.
even show that guy on the grid, man.
I was looking; he hasn't even scored a point yet. You know,
Yeah.
Taka Nakagami has scored
Let's
more
see.
points with already, and he only did like the one round as a wild card rider.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean this guy's in over his head.
Yeah, is it worth it for
Way over
Honda to
his
keep
head.
him? I mean, they get that sponsorship from what Inametsu or whatever. That's basically cutting Honda a check to put this guy on their bike. But I mean, it's really they're basically. I mean, he's not even really. I'm not even sure if he's acting as a test rider for God's sakes. I'm not sure if he's got the talent to do that. I mean, is he getting? I mean, with
Well,
Luca
yeah, what
Marini,
would be the point?
at least with Luca Marini, they and yeah, he had a shit year last year. They say that his feedback is very good on the bike for improvement. So he's at least contributing something. I'm not sure
Mhm.
what Chantra is doing besides having that Inametsu logo on the side of his bike, but you never see it because he never gets any
Never
TV
see it,
coverage.
man. As it stands right now, Lorenzo Salvadori has more points than Toprak. Also, it gets worse. Also, Taka Nakagami has more
Yes,
points than
yeah.
him.
Nakagami's got like 6, right? What does
It gets
Salvatore
worse.
have?
He's got 10.
Oh, 10. All right. Well, and
So
that's more than Jorge
yeah,
Martin has. So, ooh,
yeah, he's also got a big goose egg.
yes,
Man, we knew he wasn't going to defend that title, but whatever.
I didn't think it was going to be happen so quickly. So, I think
Mhm.
it didn't think it was going to go tits up so quickly in this career.
Gosh, man. All right, well, yeah, let's go ahead and wrap it up there.
Okay,
So
cool.
glad to have you on as usual, man. We needed to talk about Toprak and get some predictions in there
Yes, that sounds
because
good.
that's huge news, and next season is going to be great. And man, I can't freaking wait.
It's going to be good, man.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming, and hey, we'll see everybody on the next one.